Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about how to make your meetings actually work for you, long after they're over. We are diving deep into Fathom's integrations. This is the magic that connects your conversations directly to the tools you use every single day, and it automatically turns all that talk into action.
Okay, so let's just start with a question I think we can all relate to. You've just wrapped up a fantastic call. I mean, great ideas were flying, you've got clear action items, some really important customer feedback. The call ends, and then what? Where does all of that incredibly valuable information actually end up?
You know the answer. For most of us, poof, it's gone. It gets trapped in a notebook somewhere, maybe a random document on your desktop. Or even worse, it's just stuck in your memory. It basically becomes this black hole of forgotten insights and missed follow-ups. And then we have to spend hours trying to piece it all back together.
Well, this is the exact problem that Fathom integrations are built to solve. I want you to think of them like a bridge. So on one side of the bridge, you've got all this rich AI-powered intelligence from your meetings. And on the other side, you have the applications where you actually do your work. Your CRM, your project manager, your team chat. Fathom is the bridge that connects them, and it does it automatically.
All right, so here's our game plan. We've just talked about that information trap. Next up, we're going to see how integrations can automate your sales process, streamline your team's projects, and seriously boost collaboration. Then we'll get into how you can connect to basically any app imaginable and completely reimagine how you get work done. So, let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive into our first big section, automating that sales workflow. This is all about taking a live conversation and turning it into a perfect, clean customer record without you having to do any of that tedious, busy work.
You know, if you talk to any sales pro, they'll probably tell you that one of the absolute worst parts of their job is updating the CRM after every single call. It's so repetitive, it takes time away from what they should be doing, selling, and it's exactly where crucial details get lost.
And this slide really just lays it all out, doesn't it? The before and after is so clear. The old way is just this chaotic mess of manual data entry, notes that look different for every person on the team, and action items that just fall through the cracks. But the Fathom way? It's automatic. Call summaries sync instantly, the data is clean and structured for everyone, and you just never miss a follow-up.
And this is all made possible through some really powerful direct integrations. So with HubSpot, for example, Fathom turns your meetings into structured data. Now, that means it doesn't just dump a wall of text, it intelligently fills out specific fields in your CRM, like budget or timeline or key decision makers. It's so good, in fact, it was named HubSpot's most used app of the year. That's a huge deal. With Salesforce, summaries get automatically linked to the right contact and the right opportunity. And then other tools like Pylon and Xero take it even further, automating customer intelligence and even drafting follow-up emails for you.
Okay, let's move on to our next section and see how this works for project management. I mean, it's one thing to capture an idea, but it's a whole other thing to make sure it actually gets done. This is all about turning an action item into action taken.
Come on, we've all been there. Someone on a call says, hey, that's a great idea, someone should do that. And then, of course, nobody does. Why? Because it was never formally captured, it was never assigned, and it was never tracked. A brilliant idea that happens in a meeting is completely worthless if it never leaves the meeting.
And this just shows you how ridiculously simple the solution is. So, during your call, when an action item comes up, you just highlight it right there in Fathom. Then, with a single click, you sync it. And just like that, boom, a new trackable task instantly appears in a tool like Asana, already assigned to the right person with all the context from the call attached. It's seamless.
Okay, so we've automated sales, we've streamlined projects. Now let's talk about keeping the entire team in the loop without having to drag everybody into yet another meeting. This is all about real-time collaboration.
So the key idea is right here in this quote. Imagine you're on a customer call and they give some absolutely critical feedback about a new feature. You can highlight that exact moment, and Fathom will instantly send a little video clip of that highlight into a specific Slack channel for your engineering team to see. They get the feedback directly in the customer's own words without ever having to sit through the whole call. I mean, that is powerful.
Of course, none of this is even possible unless Fathom can actually join your calls in the first place. This right here is the foundation of it all. Fathom's AI note-taker plugs right into the platforms you're already using: Zoom, Google Meet, and Microsoft Teams. It joins your meetings automatically, so all you have to do is show up, and it starts working its magic from the very first second.
So we've seen some really specific, really powerful integrations. But what happens when we zoom out a little bit? Let's talk about unlocking nearly limitless connections through the power of what we call universal automation.
And this is a question that naturally comes up, right? We've talked about HubSpot, Salesforce, Asana, but what if your team uses a totally different CRM or some niche project management tool? Are you just out of luck?
Nope, absolutely not. And this chart right here, this is the whoa moment. Fathom has over 20 fantastic native integrations built right in, but by connecting through a workflow automation tool like Zapier, that number just explodes to over 5,000 applications. The scale of this is just staggering.
So how is that even possible? This quote explains the magic behind that number. Zapier basically acts as a universal translator for your apps. It lets you create these really simple if this, then that recipes. For example, if a new Fathom meeting is recorded, then create a new row in my Google Sheet. Or if a specific highlight is created, then send an email from my Gmail account. It lets you build these custom bridges to pretty much any app you can think of.
All right, let's bring all this together in our final section. We're talking about your workflow, totally reimagined. The core idea is that Fathom adapts to how you work, not the other way around. It works wherever you do.
And honestly, this is the most important takeaway. The purpose of all these integrations isn't just to have a fancy recording of a meeting, it is to fundamentally change the value of your meetings. It's about turning them into productive assets that continue to deliver value, create tasks, and update records long after everyone is hung up.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought. Forget about all the hours you spend on admin, the lost ideas, the missed follow-ups. Instead, just ask yourself this. What could you and your team truly accomplish if every single one of your meetings started actively working for you?